What you're seeing is the granite facade of an abutment on the Salem side of the new Beverly Salem Bridge, or the Veterans Memorial Bridge. And this is an attempt to beautify this very large bridge that will stand 49 feet above high tide. And although this new bridge is very large, it's certainly going to make traffic run a lot smoother in Beverly and Salem. Today we're talking with Norman Brown, who's the resident engineer for the Massachusetts Highway Department. You see that we have lovely Jonesboro hats on and beautiful orange life vests to keep us safe. We're in a State Department boat out here, and you're giving us a tour of the bridge project so far, Norman. What are we seeing from here? We're just seeing a long shot of the bridge, and what is the state of the bridge right now?
Pretty much what you see is the existing bridge in the background. And over to the right, you see the beginning of the temporary detour bridge.
And that's scheduled to open in September, is that correct?
That's correct, yes. I guess in the horizon you can see all the cranes, and each one of those is a separate work location.
I think we counted on the way in today 7 cranes. Is that about correct?
Yes, that sounds right.
And what does that mean? Each of those cranes is building a pier, essentially?
Pretty much, or a separate unit to support it. There's 3 abutments, which are the ends of the bridge where the bridge meets land, and then there's currently 3 of the piers out in the middle of the water being worked upon.
Now this bypass road that's scheduled to open in September is going to, I guess, run directly by McDonald's, or McDonald's will be removed and it will open up in that area of McDonald's in Beverly?
Not really, no. It comes down and it would go past our north abutment, and then it would go right in front of the north abutment, and it would go out over the water and tie back in right before the swing span.
Okay.
The reason for that is out of the 13 piers, 2 of the piers are through the existing bridge right now. So to build those, we have to get traffic out of the way.
I see. And will that part of the existing bridge be removed?
Eventually, yes. Yeah, where the piers go out through it, that portion will have to. That's correct.
One of the questions I did have for you, I don't know if this has been decided or not, but I would imagine part of the existing bridge will remain in place. And if that's the case, after the new bridge is built, if that is the case, what will the old bridge be used for? Will it become a public pier?
Some people have implied that, yeah. Over on that side, we're scheduled to take it back to the south abutment, but I think there is, some people are trying to get us to sort of leave more of it for, they say there's quite a night activity out here, on nice summer nights. I haven't been down here, but, you know.
There are a lot of fishermen that hang out on the bridge.
Right, right.
So I would imagine there'd be some pretty heavy use of it if it remained. It's very difficult to picture what this bridge will look like because it's large.
Right.
And now we're kind of getting an idea of how big indeed it's going to be by seeing the beginning construction over here.
Of the north abutment, that's right.
Can you describe what it's going to look like?
Well, from where he's pointing right now, viewing right now, over that bridge above the water has a clear span of 7 feet above the water at high tide. And the new bridge will be 48 feet above the water at high tide. So just as a rough estimate, I'd say it's just a little bit below that lower wire up above there. So it's pretty high up.
It's going to be high.
Yes, it is.
And it's going to run parallel to the current railroad bridge, is that correct?
That's right. That's right.
And it will end in Salem near the train station.
That's part of the complete bypass detour road, yes.
I see.
Yeah, the bypass road, the limited access one. Right here in front of us are the pile caps for Pier 7 of the temp detour road. There's 8 of them all together, plus an abutment.
Now what is a pile cap, Norman?
Well, the support system for the temporary detour bridge is 3 piles driven down on each side, so there's a total of 6. And where the 3 heads come up together, it kind of forms like a tripod at the bottom. And when they come up at the top, then they just weld them together and then cap them with concrete, and then you stick a beam across the top, and then you string it from there.
I see. And that's what we're seeing here. The wooden structures will become these cement structures that
That's
we're seeing
right.
on this other part.
That's just the formwork there, the wood. Inside that, we placed the concrete yesterday.
I see. So what we're seeing here, Jim, I don't know if you can swing around to your left to see the metal structure right here. As the camera swings around, you can see the actual bypass bridge. This is actually it, what we're seeing.
This is actually it. That's correct.
And as you were describing, Norman, it's going to kind of curve around and then curve back into Rowan's fishery market and then back onto the road.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Now what we're seeing over here, the cement structure is the actual bridge, the new Beverly Salem
That's
bridge.
the north abutment. For
The
new-
north abutment.
Mhm.
And that's going to be a big structure. As you can see, it kind of dwarfs the Beverly Harbor Masters building right here.
Yeah. It's about 28 feet high from the existing ground at this point. So, yeah, it will. It does dwarf it. Right on top of the beam seats up there on this face is the beams will sit on there, and they're another 9 feet at that point there. So you can see it's going to be pretty high up there.
Sure is. And you said that the sides of this will be covered in granite blocks
Yeah. Just
to make it more attractive?
That's correct. Yep.
And I think we're going to see some of those at the other side.
At all the abutments, you'll see the granite work. Right there is part of Pier 6 of the main structure.
The black
The
structure
black,
right here?
yes. We had to get that in before we do this detour bridge, that portion of it. But the rest of the portion of it will cut into the existing bridge, so that will wait until we get traffic on the new detour bridge, and then we'll continue on with that structure.
Okay. So you said eventually this part of the bridge that we're seeing now, the existing bridge, will be removed.
Yeah,
It won't exist anymore.
that's right. This is a dredging operation here at Pier 4.
Okay, Jim, are you rolling?
There's 4 out of the 6 deep water piers. That's the numbering system. They're going down to an elevation of minus 49.
Now what does that mean, Norm?
Well,
Minus
49 feet down below mean water, not lower. I guess it is mean low, yeah. So.
And what is this that we're seeing, the crane move here? Is that cement or sludge?
No, that's the sludge. That's the clays from down in the bottom.
It looks amazingly like cement, doesn't it?
Yeah,
the
it
coloring
is pretty
of it?
close.
So this whole structure here that we're seeing is a pier number 4.
Pier number 4, that's right.
Which is the support of the bridge.
That's right. We want to get that clay material out there because it's not suitable to support the bridge. So we're digging down to either bedrock or what they call glacial till, which is a really hardened clay gravel mixture. But that's right within 5 feet of the bedrock anyways. So.
And what is this crane being supported by? It's sitting on a barge?
Yeah, we can go take a look at that barge.
Okay.
It's on that's a 150-ton Manitowoc crane, and it's on a 60 by 80 work platform.
150 ton.
Yeah.
How do you get them out there?
They walk them out onto these barges at a certain point, any access really, and then they have a large push boat that pulls them out, or pushes them out, I guess.
So the barge it's sitting on is obviously floating, flexi float we see on
That's
the side
right.
there.
Those are all stainless steel units. Each one of them, they're various sizes, but some of them like 12 by 20, and each one of them is about $30,000 to purchase.
Now, is all of this equipment purchased new for this project, or
No,
is all of this already
Yeah, some
in
of
place
these,
somewhere being
Some of these cranes they've had since 1969. At about $1 million a piece, it really takes them quite a few jobs to make their money back. They have quite a few cranes at their disposal.
And Norm, do you know how many projects Cianbro is working on at one time? Are they all over the country building bridges?
They're all over the country, yeah. I don't know how many they have, but they have 2,000 people about in that company, and about 90 of them are here, so they have a number of projects going, besides the support staff of engineers, accountants.
And you said there are going to be a total of 6 piers that will be built.
There'll be 6 deep water piers, and then there's 13 altogether, and then there's the other 7 are in the mud flats. And those have denotations of A through G.
There was a recent newspaper article in the Salem News that indicated there was going to be a slow up in construction due to, I guess, Cianbro didn't get clearance to fill in the wet areas.
Right, the mud
so
flats.
they have to float barges in order to do the work, which will take longer.
Right. Actually, their work is more tide dependent now. At low tide, they can't float these barges right to the east abutment to be unloaded. You know, if they had been able to fill in the mud flats, they could have driven trucks right out there, but and get what they needed to do. But we don't really fill in the waterways now.
Yeah.
One invention of that article. One of the great things about this project, it's one of the first projects that Mass Highway has done a partnering agreement on. What a partnering agreement is before the project ever begins, Mass Highway, Cianbro, all the entities involved with the project get together and come to an agreement about how problems are going to be solved before any problems ever come up. And that was one of the few questions that came up, and we were able to get together using a dispute resolution board and come to a cohesive answer for solving the problem without having any stop or any interference in the project, and without having to go to court and spend extra money on court fees and court delays. So it's worked out really well so far, as well as making a more amicable relationship between the entities, and it really helps the project to move along.
Will it slow up construction at all?
No, not at all. Everything should go to schedule.
That's a very powerful push barge. They call it the Ginny push barge. It has to be powerful to push these barges around, especially with the currents, to fight the currents. And once one of those things get going, the momentum of it is unbelievable. If one of those barges were ever to crash into the bridge or something, it could be catastrophic. It could have do major damage. So that's quite a piece of equipment right there.
We've seen that floating about in this area for the last couple of hours.
Yeah. And sometimes if you watch them trying to make back up and cut back and forth in here, with the tide coming or going, you really get a feeling of just how powerful a boat it is.
And it's important to note that this is all that Cianbro does. This type of bridge construction is their livelihood. This is what they do every day.
That's right. They do have projects going in Florida. They've done projects in Delaware, New Jersey, Washington, D.C. area. A lot of projects they've talked about are retrofitting old mills in upstate New York and upper Maine and power facilities. They do a lot of everything, sometimes on a design and build type contract. So yeah, this isn't their first big project, I guess. They're in good hands.
$57 million, that's the total cost?
Of what now?
Of the Beverly Salem Bridge?
Well, this bridge, the bid price was a little over $33 million, and then just the bridge itself, and with a few of the other extra work orders, unforeseen conditions or change conditions, might make about $38 to $40 million. But I think that, I don't know what the design costs were, those could be incorporated in that figure. And then also there's the bypass. I think I've heard the whole bypass quota is $57 million. So that's all the way down from the south abutment to Flint Street, or Boston Street, I guess.
Norm, we're seeing a truck sitting out here on this particular barge. Why is that there?
That truck is a specialty item. This cofferdam here is Pier 1 cofferdam. That's the furthest advanced cofferdam we have going at the moment. We have excavated all the way to the bottom of this pier, down to bedrock. Then we place a seal in the bottom, concrete seal. It's about 15 feet thick, so water won't come underneath the cofferdam and up in, and we're able to dewater it and actually form the footing for the pier in the dry. And when you place concrete underwater, you do it in a special method we call the Tremie method. And you keep a nozzle inside a bulb of concrete at all times. So the only concrete that really sees the salt water is the top layer. And this top layer, in this case, would be about 2 to 3 inches thick of what we call a latens. And it just would be concrete that would flake off the top. And that truck there really is just going to come in and suck that all off. So we sitting this pier on a firm concrete Tremie seal footing.
So that's to make it resilient for years to come, so it doesn't erode.
That's right. And if we place that footing right on that latent concrete, the whole bridge would settle. You know, even 2 or 3 inches could have some major effects.
So that won't happen.
That's right. Well,
we hope it doesn't
yeah.
happen.
Well, yeah, that's right. That's what we're striving for here, I guess.
Now, when these bridges are built, are they built with movement in mind? Or I know that,
yes, they are.
Many bridges flex and bend with the wind. Will this bridge have that capability?
Yeah. Well, I don't know about flexing and bending with the wind. I know it's been designed with seismic loadings in mind, and also just every bridge weld steel will expand and contract with heat. At every certain at every pier we calculate a certain amount that steel will expand, and we put in a joint there, an armored joint, to allow for that, so the bridge wouldn't bind or retract to too large of a gap.
Norman, we're following the barge with all the sludge that's been removed. Where does all of this go?
Well, it goes over to what we call the east abutment over there. Well, that is the east abutment, actually. That's going to tie the new structure to the old bridge road, old bridge street. But right now we're unloading that material off onto dump trucks, and they're hauled to the Plainville facility. It's a licensed and lined landfill which accepts solid waste. And we did some testing on this material, and it was determined that it has a few high metal contents. So it all has to go to this solid landfill.
It's not good for any other use then?
No, not structurally. And basically, the way it was told to me, it's like garbage. You know, you couldn't just pile garbage anywhere. It has to go to a lined landfill, so any runoffs or anything, so can be contained. Probably make great pottery. I don't know much about the process,
like
but it's a beautiful clay.
Norm, we're seeing these yellow floating, looks like almost like balloons. What are these things we're seeing atop the water?
Those are what they're called turbidity curtains, and they're pretty much just to contain any silts that would, let's say, wash off these barges, especially during the excavation process.
And they're curtains that hang down in the water?
That's right. They go down about 8 to 10 feet, and in the tops they're float up and down with the tide. So they've had a pretty good impact. When we're really working them, you can see the difference of the cloudy water on one side and the clear water on the other. So this here is a little containment area we have. When we're doing the piers in the mudflat area, any water that we would pump outside of the cofferdams, we wouldn't want to splash it right onto the mud. It would have an effect. So we run it out along this footbridge, and then the outlet goes right down inside this containment area. So.
And what is the purpose of this footbridge?
Well, that's part of the purpose of it, is to do that, but also it's to bring power out. Between the south abutment and here, there's 5 of the cofferdams right along this footbridge. It's for access. Where we are right now at low tide is all mud. So for the workers to get out to the piers, they tie boats at the end, and they're in water, so they can, you know, it doesn't stop them. They don't have to wait for the tides to do that, those sort of operations. Also, if they feel that if something happened to one of their workers in one of these piers, you know, it would be quicker to, you know, get them out along the walkway than wait for a boat or get them to a boat or whatever. Chimbro is very safety conscious.
Obviously.
Yeah.
And this footbridge is built with recycled bridge materials?
Yeah, they don't seem to throw away anything, you know. I guess these are some of the legacies of some of the past jobs that Chimbro has done over the years. A lot of them are the graded deckings, just like we have out here at our existing draw span. You know, maybe they'll use that when they're done for some job down the road.
Maybe so.
You can see it, I guess where the electric panel is, that'll be Pier E, and then right along the line down further there's Pier D, Pier C, Pier A. What you're looking at here is the east abutment, and that will connect the bridge we build to the old Bridge Street. And until they get the bypass road ready, that will be the total access. So even though, you know, you still have your traffic on Bridge Street, it's not going to hurt as bad because the new bridge won't be opening. And this bypass road that we're building straight down through the south abutment is limited access, so you wouldn't be able to access any of these side streets until you got to the train station. So this finger off here, the east abutment, will tie you into all the businesses along Bridge Street if you have any business to do there. So.
And from what we understand, this whole Bridge Street area will be a nice neighborhood once it's all completed. It'll be a nice quiet area.
I would think so. This would take out, you know, a large portion of just the through commuters.
Norm, there's so much activity going on in this area. What role do you play in all of it, and who determines what happens here every day?
Okay. The contractor is pretty much free to determine how he wants to go. We, the state, own this project, and we are paying them, but we really can't dictate his operations as long as they go in a good and sensible manner. What we do out here, we, the Mass Highway Department, we oversee their construction. We make sure that they do things properly. There's a contract that they have that spells out what they are required to do. There's plans. We see that they adhere to those and build this bridge accordingly. Make sure the concrete is a 4,000-pound compressive strength rather than maybe a 2,000 or something less. Make sure there's quality in the bridge, in the roadway, and make sure we're getting our money's worth out here. Making sure that if you take your families over the bridge, it's not going to fall in, you know.
That's good to know.
Yeah, hopefully anyway. We also, you know, monitor their progress on a daily basis, help them out with any issues. They consult with us on all the issues, anything they're going to do. You know, we're right there the whole time with them. And ultimately we see that they get paid, you know, if they put in 2,000 feet of guardrail, we go out and measure that guardrail. If they put in, you know, a couple 2,000 yards of a tremmy-seal concrete, we see that they get paid for it, things of that nature.
So you essentially act as a checks and balances system to make sure everything's happening on schedule and happening as it should.
That's right. Schedule, yeah, is pretty important. I mean, it's important to people. And it's important to Chimbro, too, to be done on schedule. Not only money, but they have a lot of pride in what they do, and if they say they can get it done, they want to get it done.
So Norm, there are only, as I understand it, a total of 5 Massachusetts Highway Department employees on the job site on a day-to-day basis.
That's right. We have 5 engineers here on the project, and we also have the support of a private survey company here on a daily basis, which, you know, helps lay everything out and make sure it's built where it's supposed to be built.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But you obviously enlist the help of the entire highway department as needed.
That's right. We've enlisted some help of the people all the way up into Boston, all the way to the chief engineer. Chris has talked about the partnering sessions, and you know, we've had some people down here on weekly basis from Boston just to help out with issues and help speed the issues along, so to make sure everything goes right.
Overall, are you pleased with the way construction is progressing?
Extremely pleased. Extremely pleased. These guys are first rate. They really are. Well,
They know their stuff.
They know their stuff. Yeah. It's incredible to see a job built in this manner. It really is. Every Monday they have a big half-hour safety meeting before they start. They assign 2 people to go around each week to pick out safety problems that need to be addressed, and then the rest of the week they do address those. They have an on-site safety officer here, and just everything they do is first rate.
And at the end of every day they have a head count to make sure they have a full crew as well?
Yeah, I think they all like each other too,
So they'll help each other out?
Yeah, they watch out for each other, sure.
And in your opinion, strictly your opinion, do you believe this will be a better alternative for the cities of Beverly and Salem in the long run?
Yes, I do. I really do. I just think that anybody who sits in traffic there on a hot summer day waiting for this bridge to open and close and backed way up into Beverly and way up into Salem, clogged up in each direction, would agree with me too.
Well, Norman Brown, thank you very much, resident engineer for the Massachusetts Highway Department for the Beverly Salem Bridge project. Thank you very much for talking with us today.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Good luck with it.
Thank you.